Okay, hello everybody. It is Coach Steven with Woolery Strength Systems. Today we are talking about my max effort lower body day for Monday, September 8th. And I actually just tried to record this, but my mouse has a couple back buttons. Where's my camera? There we go. And I fat finger one of those, so this is round two. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and try to go through this a little bit quick. I got some schoolwork to work on later, or after this, rather. But anyway, like we have been doing, we've done our single leg wall sits, back extensions, and box jumps for Monday. The single leg wall sits and back extensions, are kind of a staple in my warm up lately. Really something similar to it. The single leg wall sits mostly for my right knee. It's got a little bit of tendonitis type of jumper's knee kind of thing, if you want to call it that, which I've been dealing with for a while. The back extensions just feel really good on getting the glutes and hamstrings warmed up, and of course that low back. And then we have our box jumps. Again, trying to add in a little bit of athleticism into our program, being the strength staff and all. And then we go into more of the meat of the workout. Straight bar squat versus bands. This was really fun. As you'll see, some of my depth probably is not quite competition, but I was really happy with the overall today because I went very wide on my stance, and that's something I have not done before, so was kind of working on that, trying to get comfortable. But overall, I was pretty happy with the outcome, especially with the load that I used. Again, probably could have gotten a little bit lower, but I just need to get a little bit more comfortable with kind of being in the bottom of the hole there. Anyway, then we go into the dumbbell sumo RDLs. Those were interesting to say the least. I've never done those. And then we had GHR with a 4-second eccentric. I did them a little bit different variation for one of the sets, which you'll see soon. For GHG sit-ups, I actually did not do them. I don't remember why I don't know why I put this down. I should have hit skip, which I might do while we're doing this. But I did partner leg throwdowns, which are a little bit different, obviously, than the GHG sit-ups. But one of the volleyball players needed a partner, and I was interning for them at that time. And then we got pull-ups, which they went. Got 5, 4, 3, 2, and at least I did hit a 5 rep max there at 183, which might actually just be rep max in general, to be honest. Pull-ups are not my strong suit, as you all may or may not know if you've been following along. And then we had one set of belted marches I had time for today at 400 pounds, which was a long 3 minutes, that is for sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the workout. Gonna skip past this. So we had our single leg wall sets. These are pretty basic here. I'm sitting here drinking my pre-workout, just sitting in to about a 90-degree angle on that right leg and just kind of holding it there, pressing through the leg to kind of hold me static. Supposed to be long duration, kind of under those tendons are supposed to be very good for actually kind of trying to get them to adapt from my understanding. And then some back extensions. Again, nothing crazy here. Let you watch a couple reps. If you are interested in some more of these, I've had a couple videos where they're longer, but don't go into a whole lot of depth. We will actually watch most of these box jumps, though. Biggest thing I think today is, as you can see here, is I'm kind of looking down most of the time when I'm doing this set. And I think looking up or trying to cue myself to touch the ceiling, do something like that might help me kind of be a little bit more bouncy, or at least give off a little bit more output, I guess, if you will. I am trying to jump on these. Like, I don't think I ever was just trying to get onto the box. I think most of the time I was trying to land on the box, if that makes sense. That's a cue we've used. I've heard a time or two where you're not really trying to jump on the box, like just clear it enough to hit 24 inches, which is what the height of this box was. But you're trying to jump 30, but just happen to land on a 24-inch box. But anyway, I digress. Moving through, we had straight bar squats versus bands. Our kind of structure went one set of 3, one set of 2, and then singles after that. And we started at 135, 185, 215, 225, 260, 285, and topped out at 315. All of these went relatively well. We'll go ahead and watch some of these, getting into the 135 first, and we'll kind of just back it out to when I kind of get my feet. As you can see, I'm quite wide on these, which, again, what I was going for. As you'll also see, I'll kind of slowly narrow my feet in a little bit more. Ideally, this is probably the depth that I'm looking for on most of my sets. Okay, we'll kind of just get a reference angle. This is about parallel, I would say. Again, This may be not. You can like kind of leave your opinions down in the comments. Not the perfect angle either to really make that decision. I was being told that most of my sets were probably to depth, maybe not again competition depth, specific, but decent enough. But anyway, we're gonna go through kind of get to the singles, the heavier singles, just to kind of see the difference. And again, all the other ones before that were more just warm up sets to the most part. Anyway, again, these are kind of warm up sets as well, how you want to look at it. But we will watch this one real quick. Slowly getting down there. I think speeding up my eccentric could also play a big factor in helping me hit that depth. So that looks like about the lowest that I'm going to get. And obviously that angle is just a little bit different than what the 135 looked like, which was more right here probably. So we have a little bit about an angle change, probably 10 to 12 degrees. But I'm not that analytical about it. But I can actually use one of these tools here to get these different angles if I really wanted to. So yeah, about 10 degrees. Pretty happy with that guess, actually. Made me look really good. But no, anyway, moving through, we'll probably go to the 275. 285, the one right before my top. Walked it out. As you can see, I have narrowed my feet in just a tad. And I think maybe that was affecting my depth potentially. Again, right here, my shin angle is a lot more forward than I would prefer, positive shin angle on that. And you can actually see me kind of shift. Right there, we shifted just a little bit. You can see it right there on my knee. It shifts forward when I go up. I'm not too sure what that really means yet, but definitely just a weakness somewhere that I have to kind of worry about. Probably some glute or hamstring weakness potentially, where I'm kind of relying on that quad a little bit more, which would make sense just because a lot of my training has been bodybuilding and trying to grow my quads was the main focus for quite a while. Again, that's just kind of a speculation based off what I'm seeing. I don't actually know that for a fact. Feel free to weigh in on that. I think we kind of seen the same thing here. We actually kind of push back. The biggest thing on this one is I kind of lean forward and my hips kind of lead that movement. So if you see, watch right here, watch between here and here, and if you just kind of see which thing tries to move first, and it's my hips. You can kind of see that first movement is my hips. I'll slow this down because this could be potentially a good teaching point for hopefully someone out there and myself. So we're going to go down here watching, and then my hips kind of lead that movement, which kind of caused me to lean forward right here. So instead of being a little more upright, it caused me to be from here to more at this angle, which kind of put more of that load on the forward side of me, a little in front of my center of mass, which we'd prefer it to all be straight up and straight down, of course. So that could be a low back weakness potentially, just not being able to withstand the load, which luckily I was strong enough at least to not fold. But also could be a technique error where I need to think about more just driving that chest up and pushing my upper back into the bar to get up. So leading with the chest or leading with the back, whatever you want to say there. But anyway, that was the squat session. I was still happy with it. As you've probably seen, depth was not absolutely perfect, but I'm okay with it for the time being. Again, hopefully that will come. So anyway, then we have these here. I think I recorded we'll go ahead and just do to the 150. Again, I did it a little bit different than some of the other people that did it, but I liked this variation that I tried. Just grabbing the heavy one in the middle, just doing a nice normal RDL, trying to push my hips back as far as possible. And these felt pretty good, honestly. Obviously, with the limited dumbbell size and grip strength, probably, and being sumo, hopefully I'm not destroyed on soreness just because the overall load is a little bit lower. But I am expecting some. I did almost eat it there, if you can see that, which is kind of silly. But hopefully won't have crazy bad DOMs from this. I did 2 sets of the 151 of 130. Then we go into the GHRs. So I did 1 set, just kind of like I have been doing. Right here, just kind of going out 4 seconds. I almost do a small pause, then I'm pulling back up. A couple of these I low backed it, and I was kind of upset with myself on that. So I really am trying to pull back, like straight back with my hamstrings instead of kind of swooping. Oh, wrong tool. Sorry. Instead of swooping around, I'm really trying to wanting to go from like here and thinking about pulling back in a straight line. At least that's what the kind of cue that I'm trying to bring myself to do, which does not always happen, but that is okay. Next, we did this other variation with like a med ball drop, which was pretty interesting. It was a lot heavier than expected, so I kind of go out with the med ball, hold it, drop, and then kind of pull back up, so kind of overload the eccentric. And I got about 4 or 5 of those in, and I think can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it went okay. It got really heavy, and as you see there, I'm already pulling back very slow. I think, yeah, I ended up moving this up one click to see if that felt a little bit better so I could push my feet and heels into the ground a little bit more, or into the pad, excuse me. They're getting parallel, pulling back, just barely got back. That's pretty much it there, so I'm not going to watch the rest of that. What did I say? Did 20 for constant. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go actually and change that, put 5. And then after this one, my low back did tense up a little bit, and I was not a fan. I think after the squatting and RDLs, it just had a little bit too much. And then probably changing this exercise up a little bit, 2 different variations in one with having the closer foot position as well as the extra load on there. I ended up doing reverse hypers and I felt pretty good. Stretched the back out a little bit and still got a good hamstring / glute stimulus. Then, like I said, GHD setups. I did leg partner throws instead. Didn't record those, so I'm actually going to click skip on those. And then here's my first set of pull-ups. I had to split my pull-up sessions, which ideally would have been better with like 5-4 and then maybe 4-3, but it still didn't go super good. But we'll watch these 5 right here, and I'm just chatting it up. Again, my vertical strength, pulling strength is still not the best. Trying to work it on it slowly. Grinding it out there. And if I remember right, yeah, this is a pretty long pull. And I think I just try to small pull there, and it just, yeah, didn't quite have it. So that was pretty much the workout. I didn't record the built in March. Otherwise, I would have recorded a 3-minute video, and I just didn't think it was necessary. If you want a recording of the built in marches, you're curious what they are. They're basically just a wide stance. Maybe not quite sumo, but depending on whatever you want, I suppose. You're kind of just waddling, basically, back and forth, waddling back and forth, and with a pretty heavy load on front. Helps with the lower leg, the hips, things like that. It'll be funky after you step off of it, so have that as a forewarning. But anyway, difficulty today was about a 3. Nothing really was super challenging. Obviously, I had a pretty grindy rep there with the 315, but overall just not very actually hard, just heavy, if that makes sense. Duration about an hour, give or take, between both of the sessions that I split. The 2 sets of pull-ups I did was like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. And then fatigue was pretty good. I felt great. So besides that, that's the workout. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the lift or just in general about training, just let me know in the comments, and have a good one. Bye.